Okay, so to continue on from the last tutorial, I was basically running it and we had an error, and the error was because I had stupidly named the parameter order is rather than order ID. So I have just changed that, tested it, and everything works. Now we have inserted the order details, but we haven't inserted the order item details into the store into the database. So now what we need to do is, first thing we need to do is to get the actual cart from the session. So what we're going to do is define a data table and call it, I don't know, let's just call it the cart. And is equal to data table, cast it as a data table and retrieve it from the session. So this is going to take the shopping cart from the session, put it into table object. Now what we want to do is we want to iterate through this and find the product and the quantity of each item in the cart. So we use the for loop. Syntax. Okay. So to set up our for loop, we define an integer I, initialize it to 0, then I is less than the cart dot rows dot count. Don't know what's wrong there. I plus plus. Oh, that's supposed to be I is less than the cart. What is up with this? For int I is equal to 0, I is less than the cart dot rows dot count. I plus plus. We're going to now get the quantity and just call it quant. And we're going to get this from the thing. I'm not even sure if I needed to do so. Convert to enter to now. We're basically going to go to the cart dot rows it's not the way you cast an integer. So just say the cart dot rows I, and then we have quantity. So I'm going to cast it as an int. Okay, there's the quantity. Now we're going to get the product ID. this is also going to be an int. Depart rows I one. This time we're getting the product ID. Oh, that was supposed to be I++. Okay, so now we've got the quantity and the product ID. Let's have a quick look at our database and let's see, for the order item we need 3 parameters. The order, so we need to get the order ID as well. So we need to set up some parameters. So let's say SQL parameter order ID is equal to new SQL parameter and can be known as order ID, and it's going to be a DB type. Let's see. Oh, I'm just going to change the name. We've already got a parameter called order ID, so I'm going to call this one new order ID. And new order ID dot value, it's going to be equal to order ID dot value. So this is basically going to be populated with the value that was returned from the last stored procedure. So that's order ID set up. Now we're going to just set up the parameters for quantity and the product ID is going to be equal to the product ID that we just got. Now, this time we're going to set the quantity. Quantity and that's also an integer, and this is going to be equal to count. Okay, so we've now set up all our parameters for this. Now we should have our connection already open. I don't think I've closed it, so that's fine. Let's just set up a new command. So I'm going to call it command 2. Oh, SQL command. Now let's set the properties of this. So we're going to set the connection of this to be equal to the connection we set up earlier. We're going to set the command type equal to insert order item. And now we're going to add the parameters. So cmd dot and the first one was new order ID. And the next one is product ID. And the last one is quantity. That's all our stored procedures added. So I'm going to try again using a try and catch. So try, catch, it's supposed to be in these brackets here. This just means if there's an error message, we can print it to screen without getting a really ugly error. Response dot write ex dot message. Now let's just try executing. Execute scalar method. Oh. Oh, it's command 2. As you can see, I stupidly went from talking about command 2 to forgetting to put the 2 at the end here. Important, everything here relates to the second SQL command. Then we run it. State the error message is 1, and then at the end of the for loop, which is this is the end of the for here, we don't need all this white space. I'm just going to close that connection. Oh dear. Can't see my keyboard properly. Close. Now what's up with that? Okay, so all going well. That is our shopping cart finished.